Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm Mindy Grubb, Vice President of Events here at eXp Realty, and today I'm going to walk you through how to plan your first event from A to Z. This isn't about throwing something big or flashy. It's about having a framework you can use again and again. No matter your budget, your audience, or your experience level, if you can make a decision in your business, you can plan an event. Before we dive in, I want to level set with what we'll cover today. We'll walk through 5 things: how to define clear goals and objectives, how to choose the right event type, how to build your budget realistically, how to create an agenda that protects energy, and how to execute confidently on event day. This is a simple roadmap you can use for any event you plan going forward. But before you plan anything, venues, food, speakers, I need you to pause. This is the most skipped step in event planning. Ask yourself, why does this event exist? Who's it for? What problem am I trying to solve? And what would make this event a win? And the most important question, if this event didn't happen at all, what would actually be lost? Or say it another way, if you don't host it, who will? You must choose one primary goal. That doesn't mean any other good thing won't happen. It just means you're not planning for everything at once. That one goal becomes your primary objective. It tells you what you're saying yes to, just as importantly, what you're saying no to. Now that you've defined your primary objective, let's talk about what success looks like. Success is not how many people show up. Attendance is not success. Success is what happens after the event. Do conversations continue? Did appointments get booked? Did past clients re-engage with you? I would much rather see 20 people in a room with 5 strong follow-ups than 100 people who leave and disappear. Events are not the finish line. They're the starting point. So ask yourself, what does success look like for this event? Is it appointments, referrals, or re-engaging your sphere? Great. Now that you've determined what that looks like, we need to start looking at choosing the right event type. This event's not for everyone, and that's okay. Ask yourself, is this for clients, for other agents, or for your community? What do they already know? What do they care about right now? When you try to create an event for everyone, it usually resonates deeply with no one. Clarity is what makes events work. For example, a client appreciation event has a very different purpose and tone than an agent mastermind or a community education night. Once you're clear on who this is for, the rest of your decisions get much easier. Okay, now we're ready to go on site visits and start evaluating a venue. I want you to stop and thinking about how pretty it looks and start thinking about how well it works. There are 4 things I need you to look at every single time. If you check these 4, you'll avoid most of the problems people run into. The first one is capacity and flow. If a room says it holds 100 people, I need you planning for about 65 or 70. That extra space allows for food, AV, movement, and comfort. A slightly full room feels intentional. A packed room feels chaotic. And ask yourself, can people easily move from the parking to registration to the room? The pro tip here is look at your capacity charts. They're always wall-to-wall assumptions, so subtract anywhere from 30 to 35% when planning. The second thing is noise and distraction. What's behind the walls? Sometimes it's a kitchen, it's a hallway, it's a loading dock. They all will create noise bleeds. If it's loud outside the room, it's going to be loud inside the room. The third thing is venue fees. Ask very specific questions about what's included: AV, Wi-Fi, labor, room resets, service fees. Here's my rule. If pricing feels vague, assume it costs more. Hidden fees are where budgets get blown. The fourth thing, I know it seems silly, but it's something I've been running into lately, and it's temperature control. If a room feels comfortable when it's empty, it's going to feel hot when it's full. Make sure you know who's controlling the thermostat and how early can it be adjusted. If a venue works against you on more than one of these things, I need you to move on quickly. The right venue is going to make your job easier. The wrong one makes everything harder. Also, while you're at your venue doing your site visit, I need you to also shift into the attendee mindset. Every touch point matters. When you're doing a site visit, don't look at it just up from the host. Look at it from the attendee point of view. There are 3 things I need you to evaluate. The first one is arrival. Was parking clear and easy? Is it obvious to where to go to next? The moment someone parks, you've already started shaping their experience. The second thing is registration. Check-in should be simple and fast. Walk the path from the front door to the registration. Did it feel smooth? Was it cumbersome? This moment's going to set the tone to how organized your entire event feels. Third is your room setup. This directly impacts how connected and engaged people feel. Look for physical barriers like columns, awkward layouts, long distances from the stage. Those quietly reduce visibility, usable space, and attention. The setup should always match the purpose of the event. Rounds work best for conversations and masterminds. Theater style works best for presentations and learning. If people can't see clearly or feel disconnected, engagement will drop fast. And finally, room comfort. Going back to that temperature, you need to pay attention to the temperature, the lighting, the acoustics. If people are uncomfortable, too hot, too cold, or struggling to hear, they stop paying attention, no matter how good the content is. When you design from the attendee's point of view, small problems are going to show up early, and that's exactly when you want to catch them. Now that you've picked your venue, now let's start talking about your budget, a realistic one. Trust me, I love a good aspirational goal, but I need you to start with reality. If it helps, create 2 columns in your budget. One that's for actuals, one that's for aspirational. But anchor your decisions in real numbers. List everything you already know: venue, AV, food, swag, registration. Even if the number's 0, start there. You can't manage what you haven't written down. And then look at sponsorship opportunities within your sphere. Lenders, title companies, CPAs, or even small business owners you've worked with before. Often, people are willing to support your event if the opportunity is clear. The goal isn't a big budget, but it's a smart one. When it comes to food, remember this: food supports the experience. It isn't the event. You might have a local coffee truck or a caterer that works extremely well. People don't need fancy. They need easy and comfortable. Audio is a non-negotiable. If people can't hear you, nothing else matters. Always use a microphone and always test it. And if you choose to do swag, make it useful. Workbooks, data, printouts of data or anything like that people can reference later are always a great option. If it's not useful, skip it entirely. Okay, now that we've built your budget, let's start talking about your agenda. A strong agenda doesn't just fill time, it protects energy. Start with the outcome. Be clear on what you want attendees to know, feel, or do when they leave, and work backwards from there. Every agenda item should support the goal. Next, alternate listening, engagement, and movement. Mix lectures with discussion, activities, or short breaks to keep the attention high. One of my favorite examples, especially after lunch, is bringing in a quick stretch or a movement break. Even a few minutes can reset the energy when attention starts to dip. Schedule your most important content early in the program, ideally before lunch. I also like to anchor strong speakers both in the morning and later in the day so attendees can stay engaged through the close of your event. Make sure you pad your transitions. Build in about 3 to 5 minutes between each segment. If you end early, great. Attendees appreciate that. But if you run long, you're protected. And finally, end with a clear call to action. Tell attendees exactly what to do next, whether it's booking an appointment, reaching out to their sphere, or registering for the next event. Make sure you have a clear call to action. Now that you've built your agenda, the day is here, and this is about execution. Event day is not the time to start making decisions. It's the time to execute what you've been planning for. You, as the event planner, need to arrive early, walk the space again, test microphones and screens, confirm speakers are present, prepared, and know where to be and when. Finally, protect the attendee experience. Check bathrooms, parking, temperature, and seating comfort. And here's a pro tip. Share your run of show with the venue so housekeeping knows when bathrooms are going to be hit the hardest. That small detail makes a big difference. If planning was done well, event day should feel calm, not chaotic. This is also where staffing becomes critical. Even small events need clear roles. You need one event lead, one person managing registration, supporting speakers and AV, another person watching room flow and comfort, one role per person. When people double up, things will get missed. Now I want to talk about you as the event leader. The event day is here. We need to talk mindset. I want you to accept this right now. Something's going to go wrong. Tech's going to glitch. Speaker's going to run late. Something unexpected will happen, and that's normal. Event day doesn't need to be perfect. It needs calm, graceful problem solving. And as the leader, your energy sets that tone, not just for the attendees, but also for your team. If you're calm, everyone else will be calm. Stay visible, accessible, and trust the people you've put in place. And then finally, don't forget to celebrate the small wins. People show up, the room is full, AV is working, someone says thank you. Those moments matter. That's what's going to fuel you through the rest of the day. Post-event, you did it. You've made it through the event day. But remember, the event is just the starting point. This is where the momentum matters. Within the first 24 hours, send your thank you notes and your surveys. I recommend surveying 3 groups: your attendees, your sponsors, and your staff. I also like to do a quick debrief with my team within 24 hours while everything's still fresh in their heads. Once people go home and unplug, those details fade. Next, review your metrics. Look at the data. If 100 people registered and 80 showed up, that's a win. Did your call to action work? Were your appointments booked? What feedback are you seeing? Then share your event content before, during, or after. This isn't just for people who attended. It's how you reach people who didn't and setting yourself up for success for your next event. And then finally, follow up. Keep the momentum going while the interest is high. If you promise to be a resource, now's the moment to show up. Before we wrap up, there are a few common pitfalls I want you to avoid. First, overpromising and underdelivering. I would much rather you underpromise and overdeliver. That's how trust is built, and that trust carries into your future events. Second, don't ignore your follow-up plan. This is where the real ROI lives. This event opens the door, but follow-up is what turns it into results. Third, don't you dare skip rehearsals. Rehearsals signal professionalism. It lets your attendees know that this event matters and that you took it seriously. And then finally, don't forget to capture content. Before, during, or after the event is what extends the life and the impact of everything you just built. Now, I get asked all the time, how do you keep all this organized? And the answer is simple. It's one single source of truth. I might be a little old school, but a good Google Sheet does it for me and our team. Every event gets its own file and everything lives in that Google Sheet. I use tabs for budgets, vendors, agendas, run of show, attendee surveys, and all event communications. If it's not in that document, it doesn't exist. This will become your event planning toolkit. It keeps you organized, keeps your team aligned, and removes confusion as the event gets closer. Now that we've walked through the event design process, I want to leave you with this reminder. Events don't need to be big, but they do need to be intentional. Start small, execute well, build from there. Your first event doesn't need to be flawless, it just needs to happen. So go plan something great. We're waiting for you. And if you ever need anything, I'm always here for questions, second set of eyes, ideas. Please never hesitate to reach out. You can find me on Slack or email anytime. Thank you so much for allowing me to spend this time with you today. I've truly enjoyed walking through the event design process with you.